Moving into a new apartment was a fresh start I desperately needed. The moment I laid eyes on the spacious unit at such an affordable price, it felt like fate had smiled upon me. However, as life would have it, a need for extra cash soon led me down an unexpected path. I decided to take on a roommate. That's when I met Lisa. She had a friendly demeanor, a welcoming smile, and an instant connection seemed to spark between us. We shared stories, laughed, and I felt like I had struck roommate gold. For the first few weeks, life in the apartment was close to perfect. Lisa and I got along well, our schedules aligned smoothly, and both of us took pride in keeping the apartment tidy. But then, like the first ominous notes of an eerie melody, strange occurrences began to intrude upon our peaceful living space. It all began with small, seemingly innocent things. My favorite coffee mug, a cherished keepsake from my grandmother, vanished from the kitchen one morning. At first, I brushed it off as absent-mindedness, assuming I had misplaced it. However, as days turned into weeks, more items disappeared into thin air: my scarf, a pair of earrings, even a framed photograph. I even decided to install security cameras, but it caught no signs of a burglary. I had my doubts, but I kept them to myself. Confronting Lisa about stolen possessions without evidence seemed unfair and could easily damage our budding friendship. Yet, as more items vanished into an inexplicable void, my unease grew. The apartment itself underwent a disconcerting transformation. Eerie noises became commonplace, especially at night. Creaks, whispers, and strange rustlings filled the air, making sleep nearly impossible. When I questioned Lisa about these sounds, she would always offer mundane explanations, like just the wind or the old building settling. But my gut told me otherwise. There has to be something else, I explained to her. There's no way this is normal. However, as usual, Lisa brushed me off. One particularly restless night, unable to ignore the persistent, unsettling noises, I decided to investigate. Gripped by a mix of curiosity and trepidation, I tiptoed down the dimly lit hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. My ear pressed to Lisa's bedroom door, I strained to decipher the source of the disturbing sounds. What I heard sent a shiver down my spine. It was a low, guttural chant, laden with an unmistakable malignance. My doubts solidified into a palpable fear, and trust in my roommate began to unravel like a frayed thread. I knew I had to dig deeper, to uncover the dark secrets Lisa was hiding. Desperate for answers, I scoured the internet, hoping to stumble upon any information that might shed light on the bizarre occurrences in our apartment. I know that Google wasn't the best place to ease my mind with, but I had no other choice. Days turned into nights as I delved into a digital rabbit hole, piecing together bits of information. I felt like a detective on a grim case, but the puzzle pieces were chillingly disturbing. Then, I stumbled upon a newspaper article from a town not far from ours. The article featured a photograph of Lisa, or someone who looked exactly like her, but she was under a different name. The headline was like a bolt of lightning, illuminating the darkness: local woman vanishes after ritualistic murder. It couldn't be. My heart pounded mercilessly as I read the article, and a horrifying truth began to crystallize. The strange occurrences, the eerie noises, and Lisa's increasingly secretive behavior all pointed to one terrifying conclusion: she was not who she claimed to be. The malevolence that had invaded our apartment was something far more sinister than I could have ever imagined. "Oh my God," I whispered to myself. Fear consumed me as I realized that my own safety was now in jeopardy. I couldn't rely on anyone but myself to uncover the full extent of Lisa's dark secret and protect myself from whatever malevolent force had attached itself to her. I wasn't going to be murdered. Not now, not ever. Days turned into weeks as I meticulously collected every piece of evidence I could find. The more I uncovered, the deeper the rabbit hole seemed to go. I couldn't share my findings with anyone. Who would believe that my seemingly friendly roommate could be involved in something so horrific? Each night, I wrestled with the knowledge that I was sharing a roof with a potential danger, and sleep remained an elusive luxury. The apartment felt like a pressure cooker of dread, and I became a prisoner of my own fears. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of restless nights and relentless searching, I had enough evidence to confront Lisa. Armed with my findings, I waited for the right moment to unveil the horrifying truth lurking beneath our shared existence. "What seems to be the matter?" Lisa asks as she sets down her coffee on the kitchen table. "I know who you are." I laid out all the evidence in front of her. Story 2. College life was in full swing, and I found myself navigating the tumultuous sea of assignments, exams, and the relentless quest for affordable living arrangements. That's when I stumbled upon what seemed like a golden opportunity: a seemingly perfect roommate named Emily, found through an online platform. Emily and I hit it off right from the start. We shared common interests, laughed at the same jokes, and even had similar tastes in music. It felt like I had won the lottery of roommates. But as the weeks went by, I began to sense an eerie undercurrent beneath our harmonious coexistence. It all started innocuously enough. Emily would often mention things that she couldn't possibly know about me. Casual conversations about my weekend plans or my favorite childhood memories took an unsettling turn when she revealed personal details that I had never shared with her. Not even my closest of friends know about it. At first, I brushed it off as a mere coincidence, chalking it up to our growing familiarity with each other. But as these occurrences multiplied, my sense of unease deepened. Emily's knowledge of my life extended to even the most obscure and private aspects. It was as if she had a direct line to my thoughts and experiences. But every time I tried to ask her about it, she would brush me off by saying it's just a mere coincidence. Paranoia began to consume me. Late at night, I'd hear faint whispers from Emily's room, voices that seemed to carry my own secrets. Was she eavesdropping on my conversations, or was there something more sinister at play? I had to know the truth. Armed with determination and a growing sense of dread, I embarked on an investigation. My first step was to discreetly search Emily's room while she was out. I knew it was a breach of privacy, but I felt I had no choice. As I sifted through her belongings, my heart pounded like a drum. I found journals filled with notes about me, detailed accounts of my daily activities, and pages upon pages of my private thoughts and fears. It was as if Emily had been secretly documenting my life. I couldn't confront her with this evidence, not without revealing my own intrusion into her space. So, I continued my clandestine investigation, desperate for answers. If I were to confront her now, she would be able to deny everything and remove the evidence. One evening, as I scoured the internet for clues, I stumbled upon a disturbing online forum. It was a dark corner of the web where people discussed the art of surveillance, sharing tips and techniques for invading the privacy of others. It sent a chill down my spine as I realized that Emily was not merely spying on me out of curiosity. She was part of a disturbing subculture that thrived on invading the lives of unsuspecting victims. Fear gripped me, but I couldn't turn back now. I had to uncover the extent of Emily's involvement in this sinister world and understand her motivations. My own safety depended on it. In my quest for answers, I reached out to a cybersecurity expert who specializes in digital privacy. Together, we delved into Emily's online presence, uncovering a labyrinthine network of pseudonyms, encrypted communications, and hidden forums. This has to be it. I know it, I whispered to myself, praying that everything will be okay, even though it was far from it. As we peeled back the layers of Emily's digital identity, a chilling portrait emerged. She was not just an amateur voyeur, she was deeply entwined in a world of cyber-espionage, hacking, and manipulation. Her actions went far beyond mere curiosity. She had been systematically infiltrating my life with a calculated purpose. My heart raced as I realized the magnitude of the threat I faced. Emily's knowledge of my life was not a benign obsession, it was a tool she wielded with malicious intent. I had become a pawn in a twisted game, and the rules were changing. However, one question still remained: why did she want to target me? What could she possibly want from me? As I ventured deeper into this dark underworld, I realized that my life was in grave danger. Fear gave way to a steely resolve. I had to confront Emily and expose her for what she was, a digital predator who had invaded my life with ruthless precision. But confronting her would be the most dangerous move of all. One night, as the clock ticked towards midnight, I confronted Emily with the evidence I had painstakingly gathered. Her reaction was not what I had expected. Instead of denial or remorse, her face contorted into a sinister grin. "You were never meant to find out," she whispered, her voice dripping with malevolence. The room seemed to pulse with an eerie energy, and I realized that I had stumbled into a trap. Emily had been waiting for this moment, anticipating my every move. She was not just a voyeur, she was a predator, and I was her prey. Desperation fueled my actions as I tried to escape her clutches. But Emily was one step ahead, and her grip on my life tight. Story 3. Moving into a shared house with a group of strangers was my way of embracing the independence that university life promised. Little did I know that it would become a living nightmare, a descent into a hellish existence that I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. Among my new housemates was Chris. When I first met him, he seemed like an ordinary guy. Polite, friendly, and easy to get along with. There were no warning signs, no red flags that hinted at the horror that would soon unfold. The initial days were uneventful, and I felt a sense of relief that I had found a comfortable living arrangement. But then, without warning, Chris's behavior began to take a disturbing turn. It started with subtle shifts, a snide comment here, a condescending remark there. At first, I thought I was overreacting, attributing his behavior to the stress of a new living situation, or any other excuse I could find. But soon, it became undeniable and my gut feeling grew stronger. Chris was changing, and not for the better. His demeanor grew increasingly aggressive, his temper unpredictable. One moment, he'd be jovial and pleasant, and the next, he'd explode in fits of rage over the slightest provocation. The atmosphere in the house became oppressive. Fear hung in the air like a thick, suffocating fog. I felt like a prisoner in my own home, constantly on edge, walking on eggshells to avoid triggering Chris's wrath. It was as if he had bipolar tendencies and wanted to attack me with the knives in the kitchen. One evening, as I sat in my room, trying to escape the chaos outside, I overheard a chilling conversation between Chris and another housemate. They spoke in hushed tones, their words laced with a sinister intent that sent shivers down my spine. It was clear that Chris was not who he appeared to be. He had a hidden agenda, a sinister plan that threatened not only me but everyone in the house. My instincts screamed at me to escape, to find safety before it was too late. But leaving was easier said than done. The house had become a prison, and Chris was the warden. He seemed to relish in the torment he inflicted, a sadistic pleasure in watching us squirm under his oppressive rule. Desperation fueled my determination to escape. I began to secretly gather evidence of Chris's erratic behavior, documenting his outbursts, and recording his disturbing conversations. It was a risky endeavor, one that could have dire consequences if I were caught. As I delved deeper into my investigation, I uncovered a chilling truth. Chris had a dark past, one that he had concealed from all of us. It was a history filled with violence, manipulation, and a trail of broken lives in his wake. "We need to get out of here, now," I said softly to everyone. "It will work out, I promise you guys." The pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, and I realized that Chris's behavior was not a mere coincidence. It was a calculated strategy, a means to keep us under his control while he pursued his sinister agenda. With the evidence in hand, I knew I had to act swiftly. I reached out to the other housemates, sharing my findings and revealing the true extent of the danger we were in. It was a risky move, as I had no way of knowing who was loyal to Chris and who might betray us. The tension in the house reached a boiling point as a war of words and wills erupted. Chris's mask of charm had slipped, revealing the malevolent force that lurked beneath. It was a battle for our sanity and our safety, a fight to break free from the grip of a man who seemed to revel in our suffering. In the darkness of that house, alliances shifted, loyalties were tested, and the true nature of each person was laid bare. Some chose to stand with us, while others remained loyal to Chris, blinded by his charisma and manipulation. The ones who stood firmly against Chris, I trusted with some details but not all of them. If we were going to escape, we had to treat everyone as suspects. As the